And we're live. Welcome to the Zeal Show episode 22, where all the shows are unfiltered, unedited, and uncensored, unscripted. The only line scripted is this line that I'm saying right now. We have a very huge show. As some of you have seen already, that I'm doing a collaboration with Catherine, who's also my fellow board member at the association that I run, Access in Singapore, which is a crypto trade body, and she's working very hard. She's very deep into the DeFi space, and she also understands how important governance is, right? So we're going to talk more about that, and we also have another guest, which I'll also talk about in a bit. But first, I want to, as my daily messages, I want to first talk about my book first. My book, Leadership Skills for New Managers, is already up for pre-order. I won't explain too much today. We have a lot of things that we talk about every single show. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about distributed leadership. Some of these things in here are mostly for Zoomers, but for a lot of people that want to, take control of their life, they can basically buy this book. But my offer is, you buy the pre-order, you pledge to write a review for me on Amazon when it launches. I will then send you a free paperback copy with me signing inside that book, provided that you show me the review on the book. And this is only for the first 50 reviewers of the book. Okay, so please do get the leadership skills for new managers. I already have over 20 people that bought the book. Many of you have not come back to me saying that you are going to do the review. Okay, I'm happy to send you the book, so please do come back to me so that I know one more about you, to the address that you want me to send once the review is done. Okay, all right, and the next thing is, why this collaboration? Okay, so one of the main things that I said also yesterday is that Access is now going to focus a lot more on innovators. We had our annual general meeting yesterday, the day before yesterday. Already forgot. Yeah, day before yesterday. And one of the questions I asked at the meeting was that who here is part of the legal, regulatory, and compliance teams? 90% put their hands up. Okay, we were supposed to be a Bitcoin association that morphed into a crypto association, right? And then promoted the use of crypto. Okay, but then we had to evolve to help with regulation for our local regulator, and then we went too far towards that side, right? So I was saying to the members that next time I want to see half of the members inside the room are innovators, half of the room are compliance. Okay, so the reason for that is that then we will have a lot more. What's it called? Debate. Okay, we'll have a lot more debate, right, on the different issues like governance and so on. But if we kept doing it, forgot to show this. Okay, but everyone has seen it already. If we keep having more compliance, I told the compliance people that you guys will not have a job very soon if there's no innovation. Because right now, as our regulator, ex-managing director has said, innovation should front-run regulation. In Singapore, what I am seeing is regulation is right now front-running innovation. So everyone is just regulating on a few products. And if you only regulate on a few products, why do you need more compliance officers to think outside the box to do things, right? So innovation is key, and I do hope that we will attract more innovators. We will do a lot more of these radios together. Once maybe this DeFi governance radio comes, like it goes on track, a lot more traction, we might separate into 2 separate timings. And I can continue my Zeal show, and I can also help with my fellow co-hosts here and guests on how to talk more about the DeFi governance. Okay, so next, I want to first talk about one thing first before I bring them on. Did you guys see that Trump is now staking on ETH? Staking its ETH through World Liberty Finance on Lido? Lido. I will need to ask you guys later on how to say it properly, okay? But yeah, he's doing this already. It's huge news. But at the same time, only through the DeFi channels that you actually see this. I didn't actually see it on my feed. Catherine had to show it to me for me to see it. So I do hope that more people can see DeFi and hope it becomes mainstream. And yeah, this is huge news. And also a lot of things happening in the Ethereum Foundation. I hope our guests here can also talk more about that as well. Like we were saying on X, we were teasing Ethereum. It's now the new stablecoin that we did not expect to have. Right? Ethereum Foundation is going through so much that they are taking their position for granted. And if something doesn't change, then other chains are going to come up. You can see Solana already trying, really pushing hard. I mean, with the Trump meme coin, you already saw that all the inflow of the TVL, okay, the amount of money going into Solana, combined, they have over $11 billion just in the last few hours last 48 hours when they launched Trump and the Melania meme coin, more than any other chains. Okay, so this is a wake-up call for EF and all the Ethereum innovators. So yes, so now I'm very happy. I'm going to bring them on now. Okay, so here I have Stegosaurus, Sam. Okay. Let me just turn on just in case the audio. Yes. Say again. Sam, can you? Oh, great. Yes, hey Sam, you should be on. Guys, if you are seeing this and the chat is open, if the sound has problems or whatever has problems, just let me know, or whatever opinions you have. We also have Catherine here, as I was mentioning, long-time partner in crime in this ecosystem. Welcome, Kat, and welcome, Sam.
Hello, good to be here.
Great. So, great. So, Kat, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, a quick intro. So, again, Anson, thank you for the kind introductions and allowing this collaboration to happen. And you put so much blood, sweat, and tears into launching Zeal's show. And now we're at episode 22, and we're at segment 1 for DeFi Governance Radio with KatKast. So, I want my dream is to actually cover the DeFi and governance space as well as the Web3 space generally, so we can have more voices, more of innovators from Asia, people like Sam. We hope to provide more balanced perspectives in the room whenever we do have our next AGM at Access, where we gather the industry together as a collective and have, hopefully a 50-50 balance of innovators and also regulators and compliance personnel. So looking forward to seeing more cross collaboration conversations and dialogue, because ultimately it's about knowledge sharing, ideation, productive discussion. So very excited for this conversation because Slido is a very, very exciting staking protocol that Sam introduced me to. And I'll hand over to Sam to make introductions. Yes.
Hey guys. Sam, also known as Stegosaurus here. So what I do is basically work on various initiatives to expand the talent pool of Ethereum solo stakers and home stakers throughout Asia. I am also a grantee of the Lido Community Lifeguards Initiative, which also requires me to build a community of solo and community stakers that will use Lido's community staking products. And Kat and I together, we also run this new community called the Governance Grove, which we'll talk about a little bit more at a later time.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sam. So I just want to tell the audience we have people from Singapore, US, Philippines, Australia, South Korea. So thanks for all of you for joining. So great. So Sam, one question for you very quickly. What is Lido? Is it Lido or Lido?
Lido.
Lido.
I guess different people pronounce it differently. There are people who from Russia who pronounce it as Lida.
Lida, interesting.
Yeah. Because O is pronounced as A in Russian.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, interesting. So call it whatever you want to get.
Okay. So Lido governance. What is it and how does it work?
Sure. I think let's start from what is Lido. And in a very simple way, Lido is the second, maybe first or second, largest DeFi protocol in the space, with I think the latest number was 32 billion USD in TVL. TVL means total value locked. It represents how much liquidity from the Web3 or DeFi space is staked into a protocol, right? If Lido is not the largest, then Aave is the largest. It's a DeFi lending and borrowing protocol with just a few billion USD in difference in terms of the TVL. So anyway, largest or second largest staking protocol or DeFi protocol in the space. Their main product is something called STETH, which stands for staked ETH. So it allows Web3 users to put their Ethereum to work, yeah, through Lido's very diverse node operator set. There's professionals, there's individuals, there's community node operators in the node operator set as well. And in doing so, the ETH is being put to work and it generates staking rewards for users. All the while, as the ETH remains very liquid, you can swap it out for ETH at any time you want. You can swap it out at Uniswap or any other automated market makers or exchanges for very close to one-to-one. And if you really want to get a one-to-one swap between STETH to native ETH, you can always do it through the Lido protocol directly. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what Lido is. The product is very simple, but the mechanisms behind providing this simple product is pretty complex, yeah, and it's quite elegant, I would say. Now, how does Lido governance work? The regular process involves three main phases. The first phase is creating and publishing a proposal on the Lido research forums and invite people or the community members to comment on the proposal, provide feedback, provide a counter argument if they so wish to, right? And once the proposal period is done, then what it will move to is something called a snapshot voting. Snapshot voting is basically a temperature check amongst token holders, of which Lido's tokens is called LDO. So LDOs will have to, not have to, but they can vote for yes or no on the proposal or whatever options they are available for that particular proposal to signal their intent to vote for a certain direction. Yeah. And once the vote
Ooh, sort of breaking off a bit.
Yeah, I think its connection's a little bit choppy. He did mention.
Then it moves to the final, which is the actual on-chain vote. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a bit.
Okay, no problem, no problem. As I said, this show, the viewers know that I keep it as rugged as possible because it's for me to review news in the morning. But if I have guests, we join. Oh, Sam,
Yeah.
you're back. Okay, I think we missed the last 30 seconds. Do you mind saying what you just said again?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
really?
cut off a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So where they start the how Lido governance works?
You're at snapshot voting.
Snapshot voting, yes. So snapshot voting is a temperature check of the proposal that was published on the research forum, right? It is for token holders to signal their intent to vote in one way or another, yeah, before the actual on-chain vote. Yeah, so the on-chain vote, right, is the last phase where following the results of the on-chain vote, the results is directly implemented or executed on chain, right? If applicable, of course. So, for example, like if there's an upgrade to the smart contracts or any smart contracts within Lido protocol, then the on-chain vote will enact the actual change and connect the Lido protocol to the new execution logic. There are, of course, certain rules. Snapshot voting is the final step before you can go and execute off-chain. Sorry, just to check, am I still like
There's a bit of cutting.
Yeah, maybe just have your screen off. I mean, it's see would it
Sure,
would it
sure,
help?
sure. Let me
I
try.
think that will help. Yeah, I think the sound is better, right? Let's just have a
Yeah,
test
it's
again.
better.
It's better. Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, just keep it that way. I mean, we
Right, right,
DeFi,
right,
we
right.
don't need to see faces anyway.
So,
Yeah.
long story short,
Yeah.
propose on the research forum, temperature check via snapshot voting, which is off-chain, there's no gas cost, and then a final on-chain vote, uh, which requires gas to vote and which the results will that is the regular process. There'll be like urgent cases where the proposal directly moves towards the on-chain vote, but only for very urgent stuff. And then there's also ways or mechanisms to assist with routine and uncontentious governance proposals. And the motion is passed if the veto threshold is not reached. So yeah, so examples of this routine stuff, right, would be maybe the node operators increasing the staking limits or the funds being allocated to grants or rewards program. Yeah, and to finally, one more point, to facilitate or streamline more routine governance operations, committees or subcommittees can be established. And for example, the ecosystem grants organization, the something called the liquidity observation labs that strategically allocates or boosts liquidity across critical applications for STE. And then there's a committee like a treasury management to manage the treasury of the Lido protocol. So this is just a high level overview of how Lido DAO operates as a DAO. And I would say Lido DAO is one of the few fully on-chain DAOs. A lot of DAOs you see in this Web3 space, even though they may have like token-based voting, right? But the actual implementation still needs to be done off-chain. Yeah, so there's still a layer of trust between the token holders and the developers of the protocol.
Interesting. Okay, so in terms of communications, are all this done through like Telegram, Zoom, or Discord? Discord is I have PTSD over Discord, man. So many scammers. So how do the communications work?
Yeah, I mean, official governance communication happens on the forums. Yeah, discussion happens on the forums, the research forums. That is the main way. Of course, having said that, there are like channels like Discord or Telegram. If you know the some of the Lido contributors that you can chat with them on, but and maybe like get some like feedback and all that. But the official comms, right, for governance will have to be on the research forums.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the official voting needs to be done on either Snapshot for temperature checks or Aragon for the on-chain vote.
Interesting. Can we? I'm interested just for
Bring it
interest
up?
sake. So how? Yeah, bring it up. So how does what's the website name again?
Let me just give you. Okay, so
Yeah, you can just give me on Zoom.
Otherwise,
You give me on Zoom.
live.fi/governance.
Lido, fi
Fi
dot fi.
fi/governance
I have the thread, our thread, Sam.
/governance.
Oh, you can also put it in. Oh, did you you guys open have the X link open? If not, you can just give me in the Zoom chat.
I'll give you in the Zoom chat.
Okay. Wow.
So
nice,
I don't know,
website.
Sam, do you want to give the contentious one or the non-contentious one? We have two threads, right? Live, yeah. On these research forum that Sam mentioned, and also like it's also doubling up as a governance forum, right? Because a lot of the proposals that are submitted, they're both very research evidence focused, and they're also governance focused. So it's like kind of dual purpose. And it honestly, the first time I was going through the forum, I was quite it was a huge intake process for me. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of content, a lot of research in there.
So actually, Kat, I think okay, on this show, I'm really just learning. I know we have a plan, but I will jump off track, as you know. Even when I made the AGM speech, I was just saying what's coming from my instincts and my heart. So what got you into this? Why are you so into DeFi governance right now?
Yeah, so okay, to provide context, I actually graduated law school, right? So I had that theoretical background, academic background in law, and I just didn't get called. I didn't practice full time. I just went straight into finance, and but yet the love for the law is still strong in my heart, and it's given me great transferable skill sets to other domains like decentralized governance. So with Access, we have what you call non-profit. We sit on a board of a non-profit, and we aim to provide best-in-class governance for our members, and it's very community-led. The thing is, I'm seeing how these worlds collide. Right now, we're having DAO tooling and new ways of communities self-organizing as DAOs that want to also, that want to do everything on chain, right? So everything is transparent and it's attracting a new set of contributors, whether it's delegators or delegates or validators like Sam, to contribute to the growth of the protocol that set up this DAO. So in this space, I'm seeing a lot of like infra protocols, like layer one to layer two, having their own DAOs, and then there's DeFi protocols as well having their own DAOs like Lido, and it's very interesting to see how governance evolves with the growth of the DeFi protocol. And I think Sam can speak more to it and how he sees like the community actually actively participating in governance to drive growth for Lido. But it's been fascinating to just see that intersection of like governance, governance powered by technology, like DAO tooling, and also DeFi.
But
Yeah.
okay, now I have a question. I remember back in the crash, one of the big
Yeah.
things that really hurt the reputation of DAOs was when Solana had a vote and backtrack a particular decision. Like what actually do you guys know what actually happened there? Because that one was a big one. Like we were saying, everyone can vote and they can. Then it's quite centralized in the sense that a lot of the big voters, big whales, have the main votes, and then they can just backtrack. Does this happen on Lido right now? Are there like few big players that are deciding on a lot of the decisions?
Sam, do you want to take this one?
I would say, okay, so it's difficult to track who are the actual token holders for the Lido DAO, because a lot of people, they can delegate their LDO to professional delegates. So if you try to parse the data, you might see like a not so like decentralized picture, but in actual fact, a lot of these LDO holders, they are much more distributed than the states. Yeah, so I don't have a straightforward answer to that, but I would say with Solana, right, happening with the Lido DAO governance. Of course, my opinions are my own, not representative of Lido's. And I'm also not sure what actually went down with regards to that Solana backtracking their token holder consensus. Yeah. Probably what happened, my guess again, is that because the validator set of Solana wasn't decentralized enough, so they could come together and not enact the wishes or the intents of the token holders.
I see.
Because the validators and the nodes of a blockchain, right, needs to actually make that upgrade or make that change so that the network follows this direction or another direction. So think of it as like a soft fork or hard fork.
The reason I'm asking is because for the longest time, as you know, some of you know, I invited to the regulatory forums, such as the Financial Action Task Force private consultative sector forum, where they get the private sector together and public sector talking about how to regulate the space. Okay, regulation is not needed in everything, but there's like, for example, in the DeFi space and the TradFi space, there's a common enemy, which are scams. Right, scams is huge, especially in both sides, and both sides want to find a way. But we have a problem where, in terms of regulation, I'm telling the regulators that they're starting to regulate the wrong way. Okay, the wrong way, because a lot of people are now, especially with what we've seen with the Trump meme coin, a lot of the Zoomers and people in crypto will stay in crypto. They will find a way to stay there, and if they need to spend money, for example, I'm trying out a payment provider called MemePay, MEMEPAY. Okay, MEMEPAY, MemePay is actually I can actually use that, put a Trump coin in, and spend it on Visa card, on Apple Pay. So if you have that, you actually don't even need the exchanges, because regulators are now trying to say, if shit hits the fan, we need someone to take responsibility on this. But it doesn't work this way, right? And then they keep doing this, and what I'm trying to do is bring the degens into the FATF meeting as well. But I'm having a very hard time, even if they don't want to be doxxed, we allow them to be on Zoom to just show their bored ape faces and all that. They still don't want to get in. Okay, but it is a matter of time that things will need to merge, right? Because when you talk about governance, that means there are people that want to do it right, right? And then if we want to do it right, then we should be talking together to make sure the bad actors are not in. So that's the reason I'm asking, because the regulators are now seeing that the DAOs are still very centralized. So if there are ways to actually see that it's actually very decentralized, yes, it's delegated. Delegation is fine, because even in associations, you have proxy votes, right? But we just need to know that it's not one person. But whereas our, like, let's say Access, the association, one person, one vote, it's all equal, right? But the DAOs is whoever has more staked has more of a bigger voice. This is where the difference is. I mean, let me know your thoughts, Sam. Like, what?
I think this is partly the reason why we wanted to start this governance growth community. And just to take a step back to describe what the governance growth is and what we believe in, it is basically a community of DAO governance enthusiasts. And our core activity is researching on how different DAOs operate, reading and analyzing their proposals, and cross-learning within the community. So through this core activity, right, I think it can solve a bit of the problems that you just described, Anson, in terms of educating the regulators on how what actually goes behind the scenes of DAOs or under the hood of DAOs, right? Whether it's centralized or actually decentralized. And I think it can shed some light in terms of, like, even within the DAO space, right? There's tierings or there are levels to it. You know, it is actually very difficult and very commendable for DAOs to be fully on chain and have a decentralized process, because decentralization comes with a cost. So unless you have a very strong and real business case, right, it is likely that you are not able to afford this decentralization cost. Yeah. And another reason why we started governance growth, right, is because we believe that this is a great way to bring the non-Web3 professionals into the Web3 space, which is quite honestly an untapped channel of driving Web3 mass adoption. And I guess with using Access members as an example, right, it's quite a good fit, because, like you mentioned, Anson, that 90% of the members are like legal, compliance, regulatory professionals. I think this is
full-time governance.
A perfect fit for Web3 governance, don't you think?
Yes, no, I do think that, right? So that is why what I'm trying to do with Kat right now, yes, we have this radio, we're trying to engage more people. We want people in the futuristic space, which is the Web3 space, to educate the compliance officers. Many of the compliance officers today, and it's very hard to find, I tell you, when I was at head of compliance of DTC, I tell you, when I interview the compliance officers, first question I ask them, have you bought Bitcoin before? guess what? 80% of them have said no.
Wow.
It is to that level that it is very hard to find compliance, that when we were lucky to find one, we had to go to our compliance officers and tell them, hey, do you have any referrals for compliance? Because we cannot find, because many of them actually come out from banks, right? So this is
Right.
where the problem is. Many of them come out from banks. They don't have the experience. Very hard to employ them and train them because the mindset is not there, right? So if we can merge both worlds, this is what I'm seeing, that people that see the importance of governance somehow can merge with the other side together, it will be a much more perfect world. Because right now, for example, at the main meetings at FedF, they are compliance solutions, okay? They are just exchanges. When I tried my best to bring people, DGen people in, no one wants to come in. And then when I did bring one in, he was screaming his head off, swearing and all that. And like, hey, still, okay? We need some etiquette here. We bring you in. Okay, you're like speaking to your grandpa in a way, yes, right? We can swear here, it's fine, but need to know the etiquette and respect both sides, for
Like
example.
fit and
Okay?
proper, yeah, like you know,
Yeah,
as a director.
but not
Yeah.
asking you
We
to
learned this in
listen to them.
CFA lah.
Yeah. So yes, that's why I
Yeah.
am asking all these questions, because I also want to learn. Because one basic theory that I have is, when it's open source, whether it's innovation, whether it's governance, it will improve much faster than any centralized entity you have, because everyone's providing their opinion. Which means if DAOs are improving right now, and they may even have a better structure than any centralized entity, but the word is not getting out there. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but it has to be everyone providing their informed opinion. If there is a skills gap, then you know their opinion may lead the Web3 DAO governance space down in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
Sam, another it's good.
Sure.
Then we segue to the next question. Actually, why would people spend time doing governance? Okay, before you answer this, give you more context. I tell you, when I am in the compliance space, being a head of compliance of the firm, my innovation feelers were shrinking. Okay, because everything that happens there is reading the rules, reading the regulations to make sure that I'm not going against the rules. But when you keep thinking of that, your innovation mind starts disappearing.
Mindset.
That's why for me now, I'm actually happy that I am out, out of the compliance space, but I already have the compliance essence in me to combine. So with that said, why would
Why
people
governance?
want to do this and spend time? Is it a personal experience that caused you to think about governance, or or what is it?
Yeah, I guess before recently, people participated because they are truly passionate about the protocol in question or the project that they are a part of. But this has led to, like you likely pointed out, a state of governance apathy. For example, for many DAO proposals, the quorum for it to be approved or rejected, right, is only at 5%. 5% of all token holders need to vote in order for quorum to be reached, and then they assess whether which outcome has a simple majority. Yeah, and even so, sometimes these quorums are not reached at 5%. Can you imagine a shareholder voting that requires only 5% quorum?
Apathy lah.
Yeah, there's apathy. Yeah, and I attribute this to two problems, right? Number one is the incentives gap. Number two is the skills gap. So to put it simply, right, what is the incentive to vote here? And for fully on-chain DAOs, there is a cost to voting. You need to incur gas costs when you vote. Yeah, so all these are like barriers to entry or barriers to participation. And but on the other hand, when a pain point is big enough, opportunities will follow. And I guess this is evident from the one example, which is the incentivized delegation program put forward by Lido. And in a nutshell, this program allocates 150,000 USD of incentives collectively in the form of LDO, which is Lido's governance token, to qualifying delegates. So basically, delegates who are active enough, and also those who manage to attract a certain number of delegations to them as delegates to vote for on behalf of them, right? Uh,
Interesting. So, okay, so it sounds to me. Sorry, so Sam is still okay. Maybe it's the connection. Yeah, Sam, continue if you have.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
So with this, right, the problem is of incentive is starting to be solved, and I expect many other DAOs, right, to follow suit as well. And then we have to turn our attention to the problem of skills gap, and hence we want to grow the number of capable DAO delegates that can vote effectively. And these delegates then can appeal to token holders to delegate their tokens to them to vote on behalf of their delegators.
So is there like a certain format now where when you write things or a certain mindset when people put in a proposal that is actually effective, or anyone can just write, hey, this sucks, okay, I want this to change, this is because this is that, and then the language becomes like written, like I know Kat can write very nicely, but if I were to write, I won't be writing like this. So is there a certain way of actually putting up the proposals?
Not really. I guess the code of conduct requires you to be respectful. It requires you to be I guess honest, and also what do you call it? Let me think about the word. Like you need to put in effort into it. It can't be just like, hey, I think this sucks. You need to there must be proper research behind what you're proposing or counter proposing.
So is there any so-called punishment for people that just want to put it up just to get attention and so on? Why am I saying this as well? For example, Elon is now saying should promote and incentivize innovation and punish de-innovation, meaning that if people are just sitting there not doing anything, he really thinks that it should be pushed down, punished, and so on. Is there a way for that?
Yes. So if you don't meet the minimum participation threshold, which is 70% of all proposals, then you will first receive a warning, and then you might be removed from the delegates list. Same thing happens if you go against the code of conduct by not being respectful, or by not being honest, or by not, by not disclosing or benefiting from a conflict of interest.
Wow, we should do that at Access. For people that want to speak so much but not doing any shit, okay, we should punish them as well. Wow, interesting. Wow, okay. So yeah, so there is actually a lot going on within the DAO. Just that the messages are not really getting out to the right people. Like you said, some incentives need to be improved. And then also, like, even when you say the LDO holders, they're actually holding a token that is also moving up and down, right? Yeah. So obviously the people that are just coming in, they don't have the full faith in it. They may not belong, also the holder of the LDO, the time holding, is it one of the main criteria for people to trust? For example, if no. Okay.
You can just buy LDO off the market and just delegate straight away. But it has to be, once you delegate, you can't use your LDO for any other DeFi activities. That's a catch.
No,
right?
sorry, correction. You can use it for only certain DeFi applications. It requires you to still be the owner of the LDO.
Yes.
And not be like lending it out to someone else.
I see.
So if you delegate, then your LDO, then you can still use it.
For certain DeFi applications, I believe, and with improvements in the space, right, we might see a state where you can both delegate and still use it in DeFi.
Okay, that would be very, very useful. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But that said, right, I think there are certain constraints. You can't just buy LDO today and vote on a proposal with like 1 day left in the voting duration. There must be some mechanism that preventing this from happening, because otherwise you can swing the vote at the very last minute.
Yes, this is what I'm worried about. Does that happen at all?
Oh, there is
No,
there
no,
is
no.
some
There's
sort
a
of
restriction,
period.
but I don't
Yeah,
remember
there's
the number of days. Yeah.
no, it happened to us before, remember, Sam? We tried to
Yeah,
vote,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
there was a snapshot period that
Yeah.
prevented us from voting at that point in time. There was like some sort of like embargo period or something like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice, nice.
Mm,
Okay, I want to jump back to the Trump thing as
Mm.
that was the main thing that was hooking everyone in. Why do you think Trump chose, World Liberty Finance
Mm.
chose Lido as the staking? Do you
Mm,
have
mm, mm.
any sort of rumor news on that?
No, no. I guess the no-brainer conclusion, right, is that if they are buying ETH, right, they should put it to work to generate rewards. Um, because especially if they are holding a large amount of ETH, and then the rewards will be very sizable. I think the last number I saw was 15 million USD equivalent of
Yes.
stake ETH, right? That would generate close to 500K in USD per annum for the World Liberty Fund. I bet they can fund their entire operation with surplus just using the staking rewards alone. So,
mm,
if someone is holding large amounts of it, they should stake it, right? It also contributes to the security and the decentralization of the Ethereum network because of how the proof of stake consensus mechanism works. But why did Trump or World Liberty Finance choose SCETH or choose Lido's stake ETH instead of others? I think
mm,
quite simply is because Lido being or SCETH being the largest uh, liquid staking token out there, and Lido being the largest DeFi protocol out there, uh, it gives sort of like a strong brand presence, and also it also means that um, Lido is focuses a lot on security and decentralization, and
mm,
this sits in into the quality of the liquid staking token, which is STE. So STE is the most liquid across the market. You can swap it out for close to 1 to 1 in most locations. You can also be sort of assured that it is the most secure STE, most secure liquid staking token out there. Yeah. Where if shit hits the fan, you don't want to be caught holding a low quality liquid staking token because there's a high chance that you will detect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But there
Yeah.
was at one point during the crash that it happened,
Mm.
right? What happened there? Like,
Are you saying where STE detect
yeah,
from
I
ETH?
remember there was a point, or
Mm,
was it just news and it
No,
didn't happen?
I think that was maybe before the merge. Yeah. I think this was 2021 or
Yes.
2020. And then there was a market downturn, and then STE was temporarily detect from native ETH. That is because the withdrawals for Ethereum validators were not active yet. Yeah, so you
Oh.
could not actually exit those validators and then get the ETH back into the contract, the smart contract, to be swapped back with the STE holders. But following the Shanghai upgrade, STETH and ETH will always be 1 to 1 back. Maybe not instantly, yeah. But as long as there is ETH that is withdrawn from the validators, you can swap it 1 to 1.
Wow, the Shanghai update actually has done work to make sure that happens. Interesting.
Yeah. Of
mm,
course, there are tail risk events or like black swan events where there's mass slashing, that
mm.
exceeds the insurance fund that Lido has in place. Um, but it it hasn't happened, and it'll be quite rare. It'll
So
be an actual black swan event.
so do people, I know, to be a Ethereum validator, do you still need 32 ETH?
Yeah,
Lido.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So with the beauty of Lido's new product, which is the community staking module or CSM, you no longer need 32 ETH to get started. In fact, for existing solo stakers and for active community members of Lido's community staking community, you only need 1.5 ETH for your first validator key. And
Mm.
then Lido will make the deposit of 32 ETH to activate your key for you. Yeah. And then your 1.5 ETH acts as a collateral or a bond against poor performance, against bad behavior, against stealing of rewards. And on the other side of the coin, your economics as a solo staker, as a Ethereum validator, also improves by more than 2 times. So if you just hold STE, right, you get 3.1%. If you run your own Ethereum validator, you get maybe 3.3% on average. But if you run your Ethereum validator using Lido CSM, you get around 7% in staking, annualized staking rewards.
Wow, 7%.
Yeah. And subsequent keys.
Yeah,
Go
3%
ahead. Yeah.
come in. How does that? How does Lido provide that 3%?
3%. Okay, let's
yeah.
we have to look at the source, right? The source is vanilla Ethereum solo staking, right? So when you run a validator, what you are doing, right, is basically processing transactions on the Ethereum network and securing these transactions. Yeah, users who use the Ethereum network have to pay gas fees, correct? When they pay gas fees, these transaction fees go to Ethereum validators, either directly or indirectly. Right, there's a simplified explanation of where the yield comes from, and this amount is 3.3% per annum, right? Lido's is at 3.1% because they take 10% as sort of like a convenience fee or a service fee.
Then the higher yield, where does that come from?
The higher yield, where does it come from? Is because when you use the Lido community staking module, you put out 1.5 ETH as collateral. That 1.5 ETH is converted into STE. All right. So recall STE is accrues rewards automatically, correct? Minus 10%, correct? So 90% of the staking rewards from your collateral.
Yep.
And then the 32 ETH that Lido deposits, quote unquote, on your behalf to activate your validator key, because now you are the one putting the 32 ETH to work. You now receive a share of the staking reward generated from the 32 ETH.
So Lido aggregates all the solo stakers 1.5 ETH on their behalf, is it?
No. So your 1.5 ETH is provided only to your account. All right. And then once you provide the 1.5 ETH, you will submit your validator key along with it. Lido will make the deposit to your validator key. And then for the 32 ETH that Lido deposits on your behalf, you get 6% of the staking rewards from the 32 ETH. So you combine 2 sources of rewards, you get 7% on your 1.5 ETH.
Oh, 7.5%. Okay, understood. There's a huge reserves of ETH that Lido has basically.
Correct. All the liquid stakers, all those who don't want to run their own infrastructure, run their own hardware, they will just buy or mint STE, right? And when they mint STE, their own native ETH goes to the Lido smart contract, and Lido needs to put that ETH to work via its network of node operators. So just 1 year ago, there was only like 29 or maybe 40 professional node operators, large institutions who are professionals in running like data centers of Ethereum validators. But today, there is more than 500 independent node operators serving as Lido's node operators. So what happens is previously they only allocated the 40 node operators. Now they allocate these ETVL to solo stakers, to community stakers as well.
Yeah, there was this proposal for CSM, community staking module permissionless, to go permissionless and to allocate like 1% or 2% of TVL to
2%, yes.
2%. Can you explain a little bit more just to share with the broader community?
Sure. So the community staking module, despite it being a super lucrative, or maybe not despite because it's a super lucrative product, right? What is expected to happen, right, is if Lido goes to market with a large allocation of ETH, right, the institutions, they are just gonna come into this permissionless module and soak up all the available liquidity, correct? And this is why the initial launch threshold, right, is set at 1%, right? And then once it goes close to 1%, then they increase to like 2%. Yeah, so that the liquidity, number one, the liquidity may not be meaningful enough, right, for large institutions to really do all the operations needed to allocate their liquidity into a different module. Yeah, and secondly, because setting it at a low percentage at the start, right, allows the Lido team, the protocol team, to monitor the actual effects once they go live on mainnet, and they can respond accordingly thereafter. Another mechanism to prevent large institutions from flooding the community staking module is something called the early adoption period, where it's restricted to only certain groups of users, for example, existing solo stakers, active community members who have cleared certain conditions. Participants in another module called the simple DVT module, which is usually gated by whether you are individuals or community staker, basically not large institutions.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a community, a committee, to actually oversee who gets onboarded, right, as solo stakers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you mean for CSM, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is it's kind of like an airdrop whitelist. So based on certain criteria, this whitelist was formed, right? And only those in this list, right, are able to participate during this the current early adoption period.
How do you whitelist them? Actually?
Yeah. So there's a few ways. So number one is if you're an existing solo staker, right, there are a couple of community contributed whitelists, yeah, that identifies your address as being eligible as a solo staker, right? So this is one way. Another way is to track, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Galaxy or like POAPs. For its proof of attendance protocols, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, through these mechanisms, right, you can also whitelist people. Yeah,
I see POAPs. Yeah, that makes sense because you
correct,
KYC.
correct.
I mean, the person.
Not so much as KYC, but maybe they attended, your online events or in-person events for a few times. They went through some of your workshops. You can at least verify that they are a unique person. Yeah, and not one person pretending to be 1,000.
Yeah, or a bot or something.
Correct. Yeah.
So for example, when you run your solo staking workshops, for example, as Thesaurus, then you can kind of generate your own POAP, right?
Yes,
and then
exactly.
verify them and whitelist. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I am a computer science graduate, but I can tell you I'm only understanding 50% of it now. It's amazing what things are actually, how things have becoming so solid now, like in terms of all the new rules and all that. Do you see, like, okay, so let's compare with what people are seeing in the US election. They're trying to cut down a lot of the regulation because it's way too much. Do you think we're starting to see that in the governance side, or was it's still okay, it's still balanced? It's not like the rules are very hard to understand and so on. Where do you think we're seeing that in terms of are we overregulating your own DAOs right now? Are you guys overregulating?
Good question. I don't think so.
No, I think it's so early stage.
Yeah.
Very early stage.
Yeah. I guess over-regulating relative to what, right? I think this is how DAOs are supposed to operate. In fact, most DAOs do not have enough like checks and balances, do not have a robust enough process governing themselves. And that's why there's a lot of like insider deals that gets prioritized, and only those deals can get through and all this stuff. Yeah, so I don't think it's a direct comparison with the actual world, or with the real, or not real, but the non-Web3 world.
Interesting. Are there any cases where there were violations and the whole community got down to it and say, hey, this is not good, okay, and then everyone together to say, hey, we need to either, I don't know, kick this person out, or this proposal is really in violation, or something that is done an event and the whole Lido community came in?
Not that I know of. I mean, just speaking for regards to the Lido DAO, right? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, there was one court case there. Sam, the Lido versus Samuel's one.
Yeah, but that is not. I mean that didn't result in the effect that Anson described.
Oh, like a industry-wide type of crackdown
No,
kind
or
of
like
thing.
no, like a DAO-wide kind of
Yeah, DAO wide.
revolt for lack of better word.
Interesting.
No, but right now, precedents are being set through case law. Yeah, so it really depends how the community wants to build jurisprudence for protections with against or for DAO actions. So it is something that's still very much evolving. That's on the consumer protection side, DAO holder protection side. And the only way of restitution is through courts, like off-chain, like legal, like actions, right? But this is where I think there's a lot of fascinating like convergence happening, and
So-
how a DAO would want to stand up for itself. Yes.
So you're seeing that
Yeah.
it's the law courts also coming in when there are cases.
Yes,
And
yes. There's
do you
one in
see
the
that
forums.
the
Yeah.
DAOs actually will respect whatever comes out from that?
Yeah, you can see it's like there's one forum thread on Lido DAO that was talking about a court case that a DAO token holder brought up, because his LDO token value went down and he got angry and he sued.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
I didn't think he had a case.
yeah, it's still being litigated, so it's not
Yeah.
conclusive yet, and it's only in a specific jurisdiction, which is Californian
Mm.
law. Yeah, so it's not a Anson, the intricacies of multi-jurisdiction.
Yes.
Courts,
Yeah.
right? So it's something that I think needs a bit more education and discourse around, because not many I would say it's two different worlds, right? Technologists or people are not aware of the legal consequences. We say, oh no, we're all done for as like DAO contributors. No, it's not. It's just one specific case, one specific court, and it's inconclusive. So yeah.
But I guess the
And
takeaway is that DAO
yeah.
members may be liable for their decisions or for their votes.
Correct.
Are
And
they? Because, like, for example, if we can compare nonprofits, like with Access, we are all personally liable, actually, for
yeah,
the
we're all
CCA,
liable as
right?
directors.
Is it like
Correct.
that for
Yeah.
for the DAO?
It's still up in the air, to be honest.
It's
But it
yes.
may there yeah. So the case that Catherine mentioned, right? Maybe this will set a precedent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Because
Yeah.
and then we debated this also in one of our in our reading groups, like how do you define like accountability when you want to hold someone responsible, right? Within a decentralized project and like a DAO, and that's where it comes down to now, because there's no precedent. It's all private contract law will come in. So again, until we have more jurisprudence, it's still very much like it's going to be governed by that type of law. Yeah.
Speaking of that, you were saying about the book club. How does it actually work right now?
Yeah, Sam, do you want to share a bit about how we met and what our plans are? Yeah.
So as mentioned earlier, right? How our core activity basically makes up of us researching on how DAOs operate and then reading through the proposals and then cross sharing of information. So what we do is we usually get a space, a cozy space, right? And then we send an invite to whoever's in the community and whoever's keen on reading up on a certain topic. Yeah. And then we gather, right? So it's like a book club. We read and then we meet up to discuss and debate our opinions
Physically
and views.
in Singapore, is it?
Physically, ideally physically, right? But there are also like asynchronous kind of engagements where we can create like a summary or like a write up of a certain topic, maybe not exclusively to like Ethereum, right? It can be like Solana kind of governance. How does Solana governance work?
Multi-chain.
Yeah, correct. And then someone shares like a write up, and that can be the basis for the next meetup. Yeah. So because being deeply entrenched in a single DAO, right, actually takes a lot of time. So we cannot cover every single DAO, and we want the community members of Governance Grove to each pick their preferred DAO to dive deep into, and then they can like share their learnings with us with everyone else for that matter.
Yeah, me and Kat were thinking, I know we're doing it physically in Singapore. Are there ways maybe we can do it on X through Spaces, and then like for people to actually
For
join through a
asynchronous,
Spaces that
yeah.
already know about this,
I
and
think
then
so. I think
get
so.
more people to actually know that there's a lot of good work being done on the DAOs.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
My
because
only concern is
Mm.
for a lot of people, maybe speaking publicly might not be that comfortable for them. Yeah. So of course, this can be on top of whatever we are already doing.
Interesting. So okay, so physically, you guys actually meet up, but I know that so okay. Let's say you do meet up physically and then come up with something, and then this proposal is actually good. Want to push it to Lido, then do all of you come together, somehow back the proposal, put it up? How does it work?
No. So basically, the delegates still have to operate independently of the community. Yeah, it will be inefficient, right, to pass every proposal through the community where you have to have a reading session and get
Consensus,
like
yeah.
even broader consensus before the delegates can vote. Then that kind of defeats the purpose of being delegates. Yeah, but what
Interesting.
the community is for debating like the content of the proposal and the implications of whether it goes in a certain direction or the other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so mindful of time, I just want to ask the next part. So, how can the community or what it can support Lido? What do you see?
Yeah, let me take that. So I guess if you want to be involved and you're in Singapore, feel free to reach out to Kat or myself, and then we can get you in to join the next governance reading session. If you are an LDO token holder, you can delegate your LDO tokens to us to vote on your behalf. We can share a link to our delegate
Right.
introduction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just check it out, and then let us know if you need help with delegating your LDO tokens. So just to recap, delegating your LDO tokens does not mean your tokens leave your wallet. In fact, your tokens have to stay in your wallet in order to delegate to us. So we do not have control of your tokens when you delegate your voting power.
Interesting. Okay, can you share the link? What's that link?
I shared it. That's
Okay.
our delegate thread.
Okay,
So
let me just
you
have a
click
look.
into it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's this. Okay, so can share this to the community. I'll put this inside the X chat. Okay. We can also do a summary afterwards for this. Okay, so this is very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so we have our motivation, our values of collaboration, transparency, inclusivity, innovation, and integrity. We also have our decision-making approach all laid out there on how we actually deliberate on governance decisions. And we also state any potential conflicts of interest. So again, it's our commitment to Lido DAO to provide best-in-class governance and active governance participation. And Sam being a long-time contributor to the Ethereum ecosystem and specifically Lido protocol, like he's been very, very helpful to onboard new community members to understand about what is Lido DAO and how can we participate more actively, not just as solo stakers, but also like how can staking actually contribute to governance participation, having a say. It's like kind of like when you're invested in an ecosystem, right? It's like how like you buy a home in Singapore, and you're like incentivized to, contribute to your local MP grassroots campaign and whatnot. It's kind of like similar in DeFi ecosystems, except that you have a digital stake. Proof of stake, and then you just want to ensure that long term your stake grows in valuation. So that's why you want to also contribute actively to the governance of the ecosystem. That's kind of like how I'm seeing the physical world converge with like our digital worlds today. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, so like I have to do it.
So,
Yeah.
Sam, yeah, please.
No, no, no. I completely agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is very interesting. Why? Because other than because of this crypto thing that FedF came and said, there's not allowed to have any jurisdiction to have any self-regulating associations for all the crypto laws and all that. Singapore itself actually wants to see more self-regulation. So, for example, if it's not related to the ins and outs of fiat and crypto, and if want to expand, I can tell you if you have the right rules, in at least in Singapore, they are the government is very willing to support. I've seen it happen, and I know how to make this bigger as well. But great, yes. So last thing is Sam, what are so we have the launch. You have a book club, as I
club.
told in the AGM that
Yes.
I'm very supportive. The board is very supportive of Kat to push the book club through Access. So Access is going to push through that.
Amazing.
I'm also trying to see how we can push more Web3 developers, not push, wrong word, have more Web3 developers join Access as maybe as overseas members. So this is going to be discussed
Yeah.
with the board because
Yes.
you don't have all the innovators in Singapore. Okay, we only have 5 to 6 million people. It just doesn't make sense,
Yeah. A
right?
lot are remote. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot are remote, but we cannot be like California where no one has voter ID. So if you do become a member, we do need to know who you are because it will affect the votes of the association. So, but we do want to see more global members joining, and I think this is now the right time, especially US is now going to have clarity on innovation. Look at yesterday. If you saw, he has set up a AI $500 billion infrastructure fund.
Nice.
Okay, which and then they're getting all. It's a private public sector partnership, and then Jeremy from Circle, the founder of Circle, said the executive orders for crypto is coming. It's already all lined up. It's a very amazing time. So I also want to leverage this time to actually bring innovators into Access as well. So
Yeah, and
great. Yeah.
I was going to say we should actively start engaging innovators in how we put our crypto treasury to work, get their ideas, proposals in. Like, for example, what Sam mentioned about the 7% yield. If you stake your ETH as a solo staker, I think that could be some interesting proposal to be brought up to the board so we have more active management of our treasury. Just to provide a bit more context, Anson pioneered strategic Bitcoin reserves for the association in 2014, even before
nice.
MicroStrategy had any strategy.
kept
So we're
everything in
the
Bitcoin
only,
since then.
yeah,
Yes.
we are the only association that has in Singapore that has one independence neutrality, no MAS grants, and the only association to have crypto treasury reserves in Bitcoin. Yeah, so we're very and we have some ETH as well. So that's why I think maybe there could be some synergies on the solo staking fund.
Totally, totally. And I mean, maybe let me draw a parallel with the World Liberty Fund, right? So just like how maybe we create like a strategic Ethereum reserve.
Yes.
And the reason is because
Yeah.
I know Trump launched his meme coin on Solana, right? But if you think about it, right, that is actually Trump selling, for lack of better word, like garbage to retail, to the Web3 space, right? But what is he buying? He is buying on ETH, and in fact he is buying ETH itself. So he's selling on Solana to raise funds to buy ETH. I mean, this is my personal
Interesting
opinion. That's how I
circulation.
see it. Yeah, this is how I
Interesting
see it.
speculation. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I also drew a parallel at the time when the Melania coin came up, Bitcoin fell half an hour later, and the trend looks exactly inversely proportional.
Oh yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah. So it's yes, they're definitely leveraging on all this. But then I had a whole section explaining last episode why Zoomers would go into meme coins, especially they have no other way because they don't want to go up the ecosystem. I also have friends that have $30 million worth of Bitcoin. They're finding a hard time to come out because the banks and the service providers are asking them so many questions that he doesn't want to answer. So people in crypto are gonna stay in crypto.
In crypto,
yeah,
correct,
exactly.
correct.
So, Sam, one more proposal for you. I was thinking, if this book club does become bigger, Okay, if we should have one session where you guys debate with the compliance officers,
Oh, I'd love to.
right?
I would love to.
With this way, you guys, each side can actually learn from each other, right?
Yep.
You guys can learn, like for myself, right? In 2014, when I started my own startup, I didn't know anything about AML CFT, okay, anti-money laundering, counter-terrorist finance. It's the same with Ross Ulbricht, who just came out, pardoned by Trump. Like you would
Right.
think all these things only came up recently, and all the tech guys would not know anything about this. So it's sort of quite unfortunate that he was an early pioneer that became like this. But
Yep.
a lot of tech people back then would not know, crypto people would not know about AML CFT. But it was also through my tense talks with the banks when they were working on the code of practice that I started leveling up on understanding why is there a need for compliance and all that. So if we actually have two sides talking to each other, I bet you will reach the point and say, let me go back and think. And then they would then think, let me go back and think. Once you have that, I tell you, once you merge both sides, a lot of things can come up. These compliance
Lots of
officers can
ideas.
also support your proposals and send to the regulators as well.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. We managed to set it up. I'd love to be on the pro-innovation side of the debate.
Nice.
Likewise.
Great. So yes, thank you for all the people that have joined. What we're going to do next is, as I'm also now very deep into X, and I can see my stats. All my short videos are actually gaining much more traction than
Like
an actual long
six-figure
video.
views.
But then once with the short videos, people actually come into this. So I'm not expecting a lot of people to. Well, at least we have nearly 50. Okay, so it's
Wow.
actually quite amazing. And then you will have a replay, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here, going to create a lot of short videos of us, and then it will bring people to actually watch this whole thing. And I hope to have more collaborations with the DeFi Governance Radio. I think this is very interesting. And I know there are one or two regulators actually listening to this right now.
Nice.
So
Welcome.
yeah, and they
Fine,
are
fine.
they are very interested because no one in the Web3 space is bringing in to them, and no one's talking to them. They won't really go and reach out. They will reach out to me because I'm the chair, but they won't reach out to the DAO guys per se, right? So great. So I hope to have the next one with you, Sam. Sam, thank you for being here. I've learned
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Thank you for having us.
And Kat will definitely talk more. And so we'll have, today is Thursday, we'll have one more episode tomorrow. My shows are between my Tuesdays to Fridays. For US audience is Mondays to Thursdays. So yeah, I'll have the next one tomorrow and see you guys then. Thank you so much.
See you. Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Anson. Thank you, Sam. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.